I would have died. Because the pain I felt with my sins, I can never, ever, ever describe it to you. Just picture this. Some of us, sometime along the way, have felt a little pain because of things we have done. Deep pain. Because we hurt somebody, because we made a big mistake, and we took a wrong decision, and something went really wrong in our lives. And there's nothing we can do to change it. It's done, right? So, and that hurts. But we still don't have the pain, the real pain of that particular action. We have an idea, because we are able to divert it. See, we cover it up. And we do so many things to cover it up. We live in denial in so many areas of pain and suffering, because the first instinct we have is to stop suffering. That's why painkillers are the most popular pills, right? You buy most of them over the counter, because it's the biggest market. Painkillers, because we don't want any pain. So anything that takes away the pain, you get it. You buy it. You pay whatever it takes. And so we avoid suffering all the time. It's our biggest mistake. It's our biggest mistake, because feeling the pain of your wrong is the only thing that will get you right. See? As simple as that. There's no way you can make it right if you don't feel the wrong. See? But what we do is we don't want to feel the wrong, and we think by doing that we are right. So how could we? They will never be right if we don't feel the wrong. So every time we are wrong, we go on denial, see, and we feel right. So we can never make a wrong right. And this is what human nature does. Human nature pretends to make the wrong right, which is, imagine, we are part of a big mistake, obviously, right? Because Adam and Eve, our forefathers, they are, so it's a big mystery why they did that, and it's a big mystery why are we paying for that. God allowed this, and at the end of life, we will understand this. There's no explanation, no one has the answer. But the thing is that once we acknowledge that, we have to accept mortality. And here is what happens that is so incredible, and we don't deal with this. And the Lord showed me this as something very important. And it is, we will never, ever, ever, ever accept death. Never. Say, from the first moment we discover we're going to die, we say, no, I don't accept it. See, we go on denial. And then we pretend we're never going to die. So when we get sick, we are so scandalized. How could I be sick? See, because you felt you were immortal. See, and we are immortal, but not exactly in this flesh. So now, the Lord says that the biggest healing we need, the biggest healing of all, is to heal this mortality of ours. We have to heal it. As a matter of fact, we have to overcome our mortality before it takes place. If you know what I mean. Mortality really takes place when this body dies, because that's the real moment, right? Before that happens, you live in denial. You notice that even people that are in the dying beds, they are pretending they're not dying. They dare say, how are you? I'm fine. They diagnosed with the most horrible cancer. They're going to die any moment. I'm okay. I have a lot of hope. They have tubes everywhere, right? They say, hey, get real, You're taking off any moment now, right? But no, they live in denial, right? So it's like, and a lot of people say, don't be cruel with them. She believes she's going to live 10 more years. She's got like 10 hours, Well, it's true. I mean, let's face it, it's like that, And then you see, and why we do that? We do that because we don't want to buy it. We don't want to accept it. You see, we don't want to accept it. And people are so afraid, they bring death upon themselves faster, because of sin, because of vices, because of whatever. Sometimes accidents because of fear, It's like incredible. You see, one of my brothers committed suicide. He was 42 years old. And I was not with God when that happened. His daughter called me at 5 in the morning, and I almost died. It was a big shock. Imagine that. News like that leaves you like blank, and especially when you have no faith, And then when I converted and came into the faith, I asked the Lord so many times, I said, please, please, I want to know what happened to my brother. And then what happened, and then one day he showed me something. I was in Colombia in a little town, missioning. And this old lady came crying to me, and she gave me a story about her son that committed suicide. And then I asked the Lord, I said, what am I going to tell this woman, Because I don't even have the answer from my brother. So all of a sudden, this incredible flow of information came out. And this woman was being healed by the Lord as I was speaking. And obviously the first one that was being healed was me, right? And he was saying, 99% of people that commit suicide are not they are not together. See, in order for you to commit a mortal sin, what do you need? 3 conditions, right? So if you don't have the 3 conditions, how could you be charged with that? You couldn't. So the devil oppresses us, the devil obsesses us, and sometimes we carry pain and hurt from childhood or from the mother's womb or from ancestors. And God is perfectly just. That's why you could never say the act of suicide will be murder inflicted by the person that committed suicide. No, because it could be a consequence of a lot of things. In the case of my brother, it was that. He had a big problem since he was a child, and he had this temper that was he was afraid of a lot of things, and one day he just went for it. And then the Lord showed me how the judgment before him is hardly ever on the act of suicide. Hardly ever. He will be judged on their actions, whatever works they have to present before the Lord. One thing is for sure, and it is that suicides are to leave what is lacking, from the time they were supposed to be here. They leave it there if they make it, right, into salvation, which in most cases is the case. Very few will be condemned for the act of suicide, because obviously there are cases when people actually kill themselves consciously, right? There are. Those are very rare, very, very rare. So if they make it into salvation, which is most likely so, what happens is they begin in a very low state of purgatory, because they have to feel the remaining time, the physical time, they interrupted, right? Or not days sometimes, that was interrupted. But still, they are already saved, and they know that, and they will grow suffering, but patiently and lovingly towards God. Because, there is no, if you could only imagine how beautiful the souls in purgatory are, it's like an amazing presence, because they are so holy, because they turn the devil down forever. They have no business with Satan forever. He's gone, the devil. Lordship 100% towards the Lord, 100%. And understanding of sin, like so much. They suffer for that. They understand the pain of not being faithful to God, not being obedient, not to have done what they were supposed to do. So they have so much love for us because they are so close to us. They still living in a way, in another dimension, but they still live in an earthly life because it's not resolved yet. They have to resolve every act, everything that was unloving on earth in order for them to go towards God. If we could see the spiritual world for a second right now, we'd be amazed as the millions of souls that are here in different levels, in many different levels, because it's not a physical state, it's a spiritual state. And then they are all gradually growing into the light as they resolve their matters of the earthly life. They grow. And also an amazing gift is the gift of the voice. Our voice is something so transcendental. Souls in hell don't have a voice. See, that's the first thing they lose. Souls in purgatory, they have a voice. They still have a voice, and their voices are in a higher tonality than ours. You see, the level of tones of purgatory souls is so much higher than us that we are not able to bear their voices as they could speak to us. See, because it's love.